In my research, I'm constantly thinking about relationships, particularly the relationships between plant roots living underground in the soil and the tiny microorganisms that live in that soil too. Just like human relationships, these range from positive to neutral to negative. Think of it like a neighborhood. There are some neighbors you like and hang out with, some you mostly don't see, and some that make your life really annoying. So these microbe neighbors can really help or hinder plant growth, and the more we understand them, the more we can promote the positive relationships that support plant growth and productivity without needing to rely on environmentally damaging fertilizers and pesticides. So with that in mind, I want to tell you the story of two different soil microbes today, one whose role we understand pretty well, and one we don't, which I'm studying. So our first microbe is a type of fungi called mycorrhizal fungi, and this forms positive relationships with plants. So the plant gives food to the fungi in the form of carbon, and this fuels the growth of fungal threads far out into the soil. The fungi, in exchange, scavenges nutrients from that faraway soil and brings it back to trade with the plant. Now imagine that you are a hungry soil bacteria living in that faraway soil. Think of this like a neighborhood where nobody has had anything to eat since breakfast. When a fungal thread grows into your neighborhood, it has food to spare, given to it by the plant partner, so think of it like an ice cream truck. It is hoping to trade this food with bacteria that will help it mine nutrients to bring back to the plant, and these positive relationships do happen, but at the same time, lots of other microbes are drawn to the fungal thread because of the food. One such group are a type of predatory bacteria called myxobacteria. That's the second microbe in our story. These bacteria attack and kill other microbes in order to steal their nutrients and support their own growth. So what are these predators doing around our fungal threads? We could imagine they're acting like a bunch of bullies. When the fungal ice cream truck drives into the neighborhood, they attack it and they steal the ice cream for themselves. Or they could be acting more like police, catching and punishing other bacteria that are stealing from the fungal ice cream truck. So I have a couple of these predatory bacteria that I've caught in the lab off of fungal thread samples. And now that I have them, we can start to do things like look into their DNA and see if they have the machinery to take apart fungal threads. We can also look at them under the microscope and see if they eat fungal threads that I offer to them or if they prefer bacterial prey. We can also grow plants with our fungal partner and then add in the predatory bacteria and see if this decreases the abundance of the fungi in the soil and impacts plant growth. So with these future experiments, we should be able to tell if these predatory bacteria are friends or foes of our fungal partner and therefore of the plant. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah.
Great. How many bacterial species do you think there are associated with this? Like, is it tough to get an idea from contamination?
So we know most of what we know from DNA inventories. So we'll take samples of these fungal threads and use a DNA-based method to get a list of all the different species present. So there's tons of other stuff besides just the predatory bacteria. Within the predatory bacteria, there's two groups specifically, a genus and a family that we see popping up consistently, which are actually different from the ones that I've caught in the lab, because that's a whole other conversation about how we catch these predators is kind of difficult. But yeah, we do have a sense of all the different species present on the fungal threads, and it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Or
I can yell.
Yeah.
Okay. Are these bacteria specific to some special plant species, or is very universal with any growth?
The fungi specifically, or the bacteria?
The bacteria, your function.
So no, they are just sort of a general group that exists in soil, and they also congregate to plant roots. And then we're also finding them around the fungal threads, but they're also just kind of roaming the soil. So no, they don't have any specificity to, at least that I know of, any particular specificity to certain plant species or certain fungal species for that matter.
I think you just answered my question. How many, the ones you're looking at, can live on their own, and how much are dependent on growing the fungi?
So they can live on their, they need a prey of some kind. So when we catch them in the lab, what we do is you'll streak like E. coli on a petri dish that has basically no other nutrients in it. So then you'll place your fungal or soil sample, and the predatory bacteria will start eating down your streak of E. coli. And if you don't have some prey for them, it's harder to distinguish them from other bacteria in your sample. So they do need something to eat. But I think some of them can sort of switch lifestyles. They can be predators sometimes and survive or be dormant otherwise if there's no prey around.